entrepreneurship. Everyone is saying that the 9 to 5 is the biggest trap. You're going to get trapped in there without, you can't follow your dreams. Part of me is like, yes, there is an element of entrepreneurship which gives you freedom. But then I also feel like 9 to 5s are getting really disparaged.
I think that we need both. Like, this is what makes the world go round. I don't think that I don't think that everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur, and I don't think everyone's cut out to work 9 to 5. Like, there's just, it's really about knowing yourself. Sometimes you don't know until you try. I mean, it's easy for me to say because this is what I did, but I do think that there was a benefit to having worked in corporate first before doing this, because I got to see on a large scale what a big company that was already established, already up and running was doing. I learned a lot, but you also need time to actually learn your trade, like your skill. And so that's kind of hard to do just throwing yourself. I don't think it's impossible to like go straight into entrepreneurship. Some people do that and they're very successful at it. But I think for me, it was like, I mean, first of all, I had to learn how to become a lawyer first before I started a business about legal stuff, you know?
Yeah, so you said it's not impossible, but you think it's recommended to actually get a touch of corporate experience.
I don't think it's the worst thing. I mean, even if that's like working in a virtual job, you know, working in a startup, like I think there's all kinds of variations. It doesn't have to be that you're in a cubicle in a skyscraper like I was. And so it doesn't have to be that. But there's a lot to be learned. And like, even just being open, this is like what I was talking about earlier about being open to that experience of just being like, hey, I don't know if this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, but we don't need to make like entire life decisions right now. Like, let's just get started and see, what do you still have to learn? I mean, I think being humble, I think working in a job also helps to like humble you coming out of college, or if any of you go to grad school, then you're like, you know, you come out thinking you already know everything, and then you go to work and you're like, oh wow, I actually don't know anything, but I need some time to like to acclimate, you know, to this career. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as much as I loved school and I loved, you know, law school in particular, I just thought it was like the best education. I really enjoyed it. I definitely came out of there being like, okay, I know how to be a lawyer. You literally don't know anything, and you have to, it's just one of those jobs that's like, you can't know until you actually do it. My mom was a physician. My mom didn't go to med school until I was young. So I got to see her go through this in real time. So she was like in her 40s by the time she started working full time as a doctor. And it was the same thing. I mean, you stand there in med school and listen and watch and observe. And it's not until like a patient is bleeding in front of you in the ER that you're like, oh, this is on me, right? Like, I have to actually do this. So yeah, I think there's something to getting your hands dirty. Yeah.
I also do think I like to talk about young men in particular because obviously I'm a young man, so it's like I can resonate most with it. And what I tend to see is that maybe it's a thing for across a generation. Maybe I'm like over niching it down, but I feel like money is a big part of, especially a young man's identity. The ability to provide and create money is being hashed down our throats currently, and I think that's why people feel so lost. And you advocate that our businesses won't fix our life. That's what I've noticed. So where's the actual root of the contradiction that men have a issue with creating money, but then even if they find a business that can create that money, it actually won't fix their life?
Yeah, I think in all of these scenarios, it's that the issue lies with like putting your worth, your identity, your happiness, whatever, in something that's external to you. And so like, it's not going to be like money. It's not going to be buying certain goods, like a fancy car, or like having a certain house or living in a certain city. None of that is what's going to make us truly happy. I don't think like, I mean, not to take like a super Buddhist approach to it, but I just think that like happiness is actually just here. It's like within you. And we spend a lot of time in our life like looking for this thing, like almost like there's going to be like a missing puzzle piece that like makes the whole thing fall into place. But it's just like, oh, I actually already have the puzzle pieces that I need. I don't need to keep going out and looking for it.
What's the happy trap?
Yeah. The happy trap is that you chase this down, right? That you chase down like, oh, if I work in this job, or like, oh, the reason I hate my job is because I don't make enough money. So I had so many friends, for example, coming out of law school where they got, especially like I graduated from law school in 2012. And so there was a huge economic downturn. And so a lot of us took jobs that paid way less than even people who had graduated just the year before us. And everybody was like, oh, I hate this job because I'm just not getting paid enough. So if I just go get a different job that just pays, like in the same field that pays me more, I'll be happy. And then it would be like, oh, whoops, that didn't fix it either. So I think this happy trap is like constantly like moving the carrot down the road, thinking if I just change just like one variable, it's going to make me happier.
And what is the main variable that you actually need to address if it's not like the career?
Yeah, I think it's about finding your purpose in life, not to come back to that word.
Yeah.
I do think it is about like your purpose. And I guess that's where I do come back to this, like, I don't know that your purpose has to be your career. It can be something larger than that. I think doing things outside of ourselves, honestly, brings some of the best happiness that I can think of. I think like, especially in our like 2 generations, for example, where we've lived our lives on social media or like consuming a lot of social media, I think thinking that like there's just something wrong with us, that we need more, that all these people are doing it better and faster and stronger and whatever, has kind of messed us up. And it's gotten us, it's really, I was just having a conversation with a friend this morning about how it really like mutes the voice, like your own voice, your internal voice of what you really want and what you really want to do in your life, because you're constantly being inundated with like what everybody else is doing. So it's really hard to know what you want.
Yeah, we're mimetic creatures, so we just kind of mirror others' goals when in reality that might not be our own purpose.
Yeah, it's like, do you really want to do that? I mean, even for anyone who's listening, who's now going down, you know, similar path to you, where you're about to choose, like, what career do I want to do? What job do I want to do? Even then, I think you have to be really careful, because it's just common that we like go down paths that our parents set for us, that other people set for us, that our peers set for us, like what you see on social media. So it's really easy to do that, but I recommend kind of like checking in with yourself. I write in the book about how like I think this conversation is like so frustrating to me, because one of the things I realized was that I'm like, like life is built backwards. You're supposed to have like 18, you know, you're supposed to choose a major that then like sets your life in motion. Or even like while you're in college, you're choosing something that sets this path for you. And how are you supposed to know now what you want to do? So that is maybe also where some of this like whole, like, I just think it's helpful to get out there and try, because it helps you to chisel down like, oh, I didn't like that so much. I liked this part, but I want a little less that and a little bit more of this. You don't know unless you try it. Yeah.
Yes, people, if you enjoyed that clip, remember to subscribe and like the clip, and you can check out the full episode right here. Yep, it's right here. Just press it. Just tap it. It's right there.